Good evening. Welcome to Mystic Moons. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, there's always a subject that is timeless, that has no day or it has a period of space. And even if it doesn't concern you directly, maybe it does. Certain things are that way. Well, it's early in the morning as usual. And it's cold. It's winter. There's a foot or more of snow outside. And I haven't reached the point where I have cabin fever. I'm just glad I'm not outside. Which I am going outside in a few days, but it's like 5 degrees outside or less. Wind chill. Mm. Well, enough about where I am. Let's talk about where the United States is at. Let's talk about where the countries in Europe are at. Thank you for the hearts. Let's talk about things that no matter where you are can affect you. In today's age, we don't know what is what. What can happen? Security and safety are words that we try to make into feelings. We're never going to get the right answer. Many of us know that. No matter how many questions or anxiety ridden answers or assurances we wish to hear. However, there is one thing that's consistent. As humans, we have a place in the cosmos. We have a place in the universe. We have spirits and entities and places our minds can connect. We are not alone. And we can't trust someone who's telling us things that don't really feel right, no matter who they may be. Who they may be. But anyway, welcome aboard. Welcome, 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 welcome. Today we're going to talk about a political psychic what if. It could happen. It could happen. We're going to talk about the United States. We're going to talk about President Donald J. Trump. Now, he's in the news several times during the day. And he's quite a figure. Quite a figure. But lately, now, he came into the office for the second term after skipping a year. We all know that. And we're constantly hearing about Democrats and Republicans, the two main parties that are responsible for governance in the United States. If you believe that they are two separate entities, more power to you. If you believe they're having the same goal, it seems as though whoever gets in office, they do the same things, no matter what pretense or facts they said they would achieve. It's up to grabs. Donald J. Trump has been like scaring a lot of people. A lot of people because he fluctuates a lot. He's been in office for 1 year. We all know that. And this 1 year that he's been in office, it's been quite a roller coaster. Lately, the last, who knows if it's really the last thing he did, but one of his more recent activities was writing a letter to the Norway Prime Minister, the PM, and telling them that he wants Greenland, a frozen piece of the earth, on the tip of the earth, the northern part. And he's saying that he wants it now, and he wants it, and he doesn't care about peacefully getting it either. Doesn't care what condition he gets the country in. Now, the fact of the matter is, and he should know this as a leader, Greenland is not owned by Norway. Oh, of course, there's more to it than just Norway is where the Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, comes from. And he's mistakenly thinking that the Norwegian government gives out the Peace Prize. No, 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 no. To say it that manner, it is a separate institution. It is not connected with the Norwegian government. However, Donald J. Trump seems to have believed that it is. So, on that level, it's a reality for him. And he's saying that of course, he doesn't care about peace anymore because you didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize. Even though the woman who did receive the Nobel Peace Prize, she handed hers over to his hands. And he was all very smiley, but she was hoping to become one of his persons in Venezuela. Then, of course, he says to her right off the bat, as soon as he gets it, well, I can't, she is not fit to be leader of Venezuela. Of course, it's Venezuelan people that will decide their own leadership, no matter how much blood, how much chaos they must go for, because you cannot just walk into a country and say, you're mine. No more than you can take a woman or a man against their will and say, you're mine. Or a pet. Even livestock. You can't just say, it's mine. However, some people are delusional enough to think that they can just do that because it's not that easy, and there's lots of sweat and blood to achieve what we all have achieved. No one gives up anything easily. But besides that point, let's go back to Greenland. Now, okay, so let's excuse Donald J. Trump for not knowing where the Nobel Peace Prize came from. But he is assuming that Denmark for some reason, is responsible for the ownership of Greenland. When Greenland is governed and protected by all 32 states of NATO, Mr. Trump thinks that it is just Denmark that he has to contend with. And he's also under the opinion that the 32 states of NATO can't pull it together to protect that icy patch of no person's reindeer land. Now, that's a lot of hubris. But of course, nobody ever assumed that he lacked any holding back. Right? He lacked any holding back. All right. So, now, can you just see that like there's two things? Thinking that a country that you want, and you're no longer saying that you're going to do this peacefully. You'll do it by any means necessary. Can you imagine China or Russia doing that to a territory? And not even knowing exactly who owned what, and disregarding the people of that land. Like, people all over the world are so crazy to be like us United States citizens, that we have it so great here. We haven't fought with tears and sweat and blood generation after generation to get things, and to have them only go, oh, robots will do it for you. We'll give you universal basic income. Don't worry, a robot will drive your car. A robot will do your books, your bookkeeping. A robot will teach your children. A robot. The wheels of the technocracy chariot, galloping, 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 from the west coast to the east coast, from the north to the south, which is exactly the objective. And that drooling of acquiring, that acquisition of getting all that territory under one computer, main computer, is just so mouth-watering, it's almost delusional delusion. We have been being accused of being delusional in our greed of acquisition. Our greed of acquisition. Now, as again, can you see China or Russia making those faux pas? So publicly too, writing letters all over, posted notes, posting on social media these erroneous facts. So once again, now, if you don't know what the 25th Amendment is, the 25th Amendment basically says that you can remove a sitting president for health reasons, or you don't feel that he is doing a good job. You feel that he is not fit for the office. And it can be done by his own administration as well as Congress. Which is why you go again, you see a president who has turned his own people against his own people, sending the U.S. military into the cities, rounding up people, and in such a brutal way of no explanation. Now, the United States has never been a country that you had to show your papers prior to 2020. In 2020, during the COVID thing, in certain places like New York, you had to show your papers that you did have or did not have the prescribed CDC recommendations. Now, or you could not come, or you had to be squired away in a hotel room and to stay for a certain period of time. Now, that was the beta testing. Now we're in another type of beta testing with the U.S. forces coming into areas and roughing people up. And of course, people react. You never know how somebody's going to react. You've got food. Food prices are astronomical. Housing is astronomical. Insurance, so forth and so on. The prices are more than a lot of people can cope with. Plus layoffs. Layoffs are in the millions. The millions. Store closings, thousands and thousands and thousands of established stores. We are falling apart. Not to say our roads, our bridges, and all we could talk about, or could say, what a great economy. Trump says, what a great economy we have. And his main supporter, the South African Elon Musk, says, oh, everything's great. Everything's, the money bags. He's already put $10 million, so to speak, into the midterm elections. And of course, for a trillionaire, that's nothing. That's nothing. But of course, if he gave $100K to either one of us, we'd have a little bit of respite, a little bit of rest, perhaps. Now, the 25th Amendment, going back to that, says that a president is incompetent or unfit for office. Also by health. Now, we all notice that Trump has had bruises all over his hands. Bruises. Now, it takes a lot to bruise your hands, right in the spot where he does. And you could think, wow, okay, so you could think, no, that's pretty strange. It's just pretty strange. And then the fact that his ankles are very swollen, he's retaining water. It's something. He's not in the best of health, and he falls asleep all the time. He falls asleep during meetings, and then he's hanging up as you, staying up late at night, and on social media all the time. So in the daytime he spends threatening tariffs on everyone, and tariffs on our friends, our allies, our enemies, perceived enemies. Even though the United States, I have to remind everybody, is made up of many, many, many people from many, many countries. It is supposed to be an immigrant country stamped on the blood of the indigenous, frankly. That's the way. They came here 200-300 years ago and wiped out what was here and imposed themselves with cowboys Cowboys and Indians. Hollywood did the whole final brainwashing, and then just showed Indians on horses going fight like that. And even in our Constitution of the United States, our Bill of Rights, U.S. Constitution, independence, the independence, document of independence, exactly. The fifth paragraph calls the indigenous of this country savages. Savages more than once. And the people without, the white people, the immigrants who came in without property, only the white people, they were called or implied that because they had no assets, they were not to be confused or categorized with any strong opinions because they need to have their bellies full. They had no food to feed themselves. Therefore, their opinions swayed to where their meal was, their hamburger, their soup. That's the facts. Check it out. Check it out. Document of Independence, fifth paragraph. So they dissed two types of people, those without assets and those of indigenous people. But that's another point. Another point. Back to the situation at hand. We are talking about someone who, instead of paying attention to things in this country, is constantly seeking other subjects, international subjects, Venezuela, Gaza, Middle East, Greenland, who else? Mexico, Canada, North America. He's into making this North American alliance, which is not taking into consideration. Now, everyone knows we have tectonic plates. We have the earthquakes. And the west coast of the United States has a lot of movement. In fact, since this 1 month, these last 3 weeks, so far, this is middle of January, almost 2/3 of January, well, we're past the middle of January, there have been over 500 quakes. There's earthquakes every day, up and down the East Coast. Some on a few miles out off the coast, some inside the states, the areas. The Ring of Fire is essentially connected to the West Coast. Now, you would think that he would say a little bit about contingency plans about what would happen if an earthquake did happen, a serious one, more than 6.5 or 6.7 or 8. It's already been a 6.5, a 6.2, a 5.1, and there are tons of 3s and 4 on the Richter scale. Now, isn't that in a subject that is, if you're president, you should pay attention instead of just brushing it aside or not even saying, or just saying, I will send the marshals, I will do this, I will do that, I will do this, I will do that. Leadership is not paying attention to the land that it leads, the grounds that our feet are upon. Now, that is a pretty serious issue in your own country. What happens is not of any importance, or it's never going to happen. They've been talking about the big one for, I guess, ever since the last big one happened, probably over 100 and something years ago, probably. But yet, every day we're hearing earthquakes, California earthquakes, and yet nothing is ever said about it. Nothing is ever said about it. There's no plan. They just say, "Oh yeah, go into the inside of your place, get away from the windows, and put your arms, your skinny little arms, over your head." Great, great, great. Doesn't that make you feel confident when you look at your arms? Hello, yes. I mean, there's so many things in the United that we haven't gotten. We haven't gotten disclosure about a year plus all those aircrafts, all those physics defying aircrafts with velocities 700 miles an hour, zoom, 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 zoom. Nothing. We haven't heard about the course, none of the infrastructure, the bridges, the roads have been fixed. There's no jobs. Food prices are just like, oh, it's working, it's working, it's working. You can get anything in the store under like $5, $6, $7. You get a loaf of bread for 6, 7, 8 and up dollars. You only get 15 slices. No, not even 15, 12 slices in a loaf of bread. If you're lucky, that's almost $1 a piece for a slice of bread. And all we get is, no, we were promised by Trump no more foreign wars. There's about over a dozen foreign wars right now with asking for more and more and more. As though this country is somehow invincible. And because we took the leadership out of Venezuela, stole their goods, stealing their goods, we're now thinking we have it. It's ours. One man does not represent a country. We all know that. One person is not the country. It's part. Excuse me. It's part. And then too, back instead of like having a contingency plan for earthquakes on the West Coast, which it's go look at the stats of earthquakes. You get a little. It's something's happening. The earth is moving. The ground itself is rumbling. You have Trump. Okay, so Gaza is a horrible situation, and they often say what happens in Gaza. What happened in Gaza is the way of the world. Gaza will be here, Gaza will be there, Gaza will be everywhere. The destruction, the carnage. But President Trump he's made a board of peace. A board of peace, of course, he's the leader. And if you want to, you can buy into it for $1 million. Not 1 billion. 1 billion, excuse me. $1 billion, you could be there for more than just a year. Can you imagine? On top of all that blood, all that anguish, having that territory rebuilt on those bones of children, old people. It sounds rather macabre, doesn't it? Rather macabre. So this is the leadership of we're getting this really bad, we have gotten now a really bad aura surrounding the United States. Because we don't care. We don't care, and we said, what can you do about it? So what? I have weapons, as though that is the way to rule the world is through weapons. Weapons. It's not. It's not. Now here's the person. Did he serve in the military? Did Donald Trump serve in the military? No. But yet he's enamored of the power to tell the military what to do and what not to do. Of telling service people, even though he himself did not be part of the military. So now we have a statesman who doesn't quite contact the right sources, falls asleep during meetings, and insists upon, if you don't listen to me every time in the time that I say, I'm going to blow you up. I'm going to seize it by my magnificent warriors. Those magnificent warriors are our brothers, our sisters, our neighbors. Now, we may not like our neighbors, but however, do you want to see them dying in some foreign place? I don't. For what? Stealing, rigging elections. So we have a pretty bad situation here. And people are just oblivious to the whole. It's just that they're oblivious to earthquakes, the big one. happening. And it's not just the big one happening on the West Coast, because listen, you see United States with all its planes, its military, and you see China and Russia doing the same thing. But the things, they're super weapons, they keep hidden. They don't have any discussion. HARP, high frequency, those tectonic plates can be triggered by frequency waves. It could come from an adversary. It could come from anywhere. It could come from an alien civilization. Something's happening. And let's just say that if something does happen, who is going to help us? Who is going to say, it serves you right for being such a bully? Now we have all this karma, all this something. We are creating. We're creating a lot of anxiety and fear. And do you think that when we need something, when we need other people, that they are going to come running to our aid only for us to get on our feet and then cut their throats? Cut their throats? I don't think so. So let's ask this spirits, the cosmos. Let's start with the dragon cards, all right? Let's start with the dragon cards. This is dragon energy. Look at the backs of these cards. They give a nasty feeling, don't they? They give a very, let's see now. All right, this one. This speaks something. I don't know what. Will Trump be replaced by the 25th? Removed, not replaced. Removed. Because he's doing one intense thing after another. We will have no friends left. We will have no one to lean on. And of course, we're supposed to lean on ourselves. We can't even lean on our neighbors. We have Americans going against Americans, which is why ICE is there to start the civil war. And no matter how much we wail and stomp and stamp, we're just doing what they want us to do. We're acting childish. We should unite. No wars, peace, jobs. We don't need robots. You want to see your children, your friends being governed by robots, machines? I make the toast and I give you pills and I stay here and read you a book. No matter what. Does that future really turn you on? That dystopic future? Technocracy? Does that really turn you on? Like, this is what I pray for. This is what I've gone through civilization after civilization for, to have machinery around me, cold. Of course, I could plug it in. I could put a heater on it, but it's still a machine. Right now, we all have heaters or fans or air conditioners. Talk to your air conditioner or your fan. Besides, turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off, and talk to it and see how it goes. I mean, you can call up anyone, any force. Is this what you want? Is this what you want? And who has the money these days? Just imagine that, to be on Trump's board of peace, Gaza board of peace right now. Could be the whole world board of peace if you keep on threatening people with blowing up and showing strange off-world aircraft. We aren't the only ones with off-world aircraft, of which that's probably needs to be shown more. And it probably is. It just doesn't make it to you or I, our ears, all the time. It comes, but not publicly. It comes to our ears because we search it out. We look. One more. Well, this is about the current state. Will he be removed by the 25th Amendment? Will Donald Trump be removed? First card we get. The Wheel of Fortune. That looks like they're certainly going to try. They're certainly going to try. And you know, when you have so many people that feel you are the problem, your friends, your enemies, people don't even know you. You're disturbing the peace, the frail peace that we countries, we earthlings, we humans, we peoples of different lands can hold together. Now, many of us have nothing against the other. Chinese, Russians, Americans, Thais, British. We all want the same thing. We want to live peacefully. Who's in power? A small group. Why must a small group of people be in power? The more developments that we share, that we have, this country anyway, the more they crack down on fees and regulations. And now, speech. The next one we have, the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups. Well, from the Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Cups, I would say this could be removal. And I would say that the Six of Cups could be the different ways of going about it. You can have removal by your administration comrades, or you can have by the Congress. And of course, with Trump threatening to cancel Insurrection Act, cancel midterm elections, then he wouldn't have to worry about that. But does he have the health to go along with all this? Not only is he 78 years old, now people can be in good shape for 78 years old. Any age, you could be in good shape. Any age. But the fact of the matter, your diet matters a lot. Your weight matters a lot. You can't eat garbage. All right. Fast foods. Excuse my language. You can't eat, you have to eat a certain way, exercise a certain way. There used to be athletic encouragement in this country. Now you just stick a needle in your gut, take some kind of snake venom type of substance, and you paralyze your stomach so you don't eat. Pharmaceuticals versus motor skills. The next card we have about this situation, the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups. It's definitely something that is being talked about all over. But so many enemies. How can you even sleep? If I had half, not even half, a flea smidgen of those many enemies, I could not sleep at night. But of course, I am too awake. A little humor. But you keep making so many enemies. You can't help but be paranoid. There was a price on Trump's head before he got elected. Can you imagine what people are after him to do now? And not only people who are like sitting in a pub, one too many drinks, or down and out maniacs. We're talking about people with assets to lose or to gain. Chess players. It's something to consider. It's also considering the fact that there are many national disasters that can happen to a country. And who can we fall on to be our friend? Even Britain is saying, we will not pay your tariffs, we will not do this, and we will not do that, and we will not come this summer to your the World Cup, Olympics. We will not come. Boycott. We will not buy it. Europe is already saying they're not buying American products. The few things we do make, I don't know what they are. We will not buy anything that has a USA on it. People don't trade. They trade something. Trade is a symbol of peace. and integration. Here we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups. People are getting into collectives, just like we were just saying. I'm figuring out first of all, can you survive 3 more years of all this activity? Can you keep supporting foreign armies, warfare, and no help here in the United States? Can you honestly go and say Venezuela's assets, resources, minerals are yours? They didn't give it to you. And we have such great management of our people that we have to send military to our people. And we could say it's over immigration. That too was a plan. This is a plan going on. A plan. It didn't happen overnight. And it was many, 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 it's like a puzzle piece. Many, many assets, many, many sections and parts of the plan to reduce the United States. Okay, we are reduced now. But now are we finally going to put a tombstone on our heads? Are we going to put our 6 feet under soil on top of us? That's something we have to ask. That's something we have to pray doesn't happen. But we have to do more than pray. We have to demand peace. We have to demand that we have civility. We have to demand that we have more of a say in leadership. We have the Three of Swords. This does seem very foreboding, doesn't it? Three of Swords. Something is being plotted to remove Trump. Now remember, J.D. Vance is, he's wah-wah, all on board. And he brings the technocracy as well. And he doesn't have those health problems that Trump has. Three of Swords. Two of Cups. Ace of Cups. Yes, there are plans in motion, and it is definitely something to remove Donald J. Trump. And there are lots of ways and people who have different ideas to do that. Especially when he gets all, what's the right word? Doofy? Goofy? Fudging? What is the word? He's confusing what is what. I didn't get my peace prize. I'm responsible for stopping 8 wars. Gaza has been in war ever since forever. And it's still, even though they have a ceasefire on print, it matters neat. The IDF has been bombing the remaining Palestinians. The Palestinians who were 30% Muslim, 30% Christian, and 30%, I don't really give a crap what your religion is, have been decimated. A lot of people aren't religious. They don't believe in what other people believe in. Or they do a little bit more research. Or they just feel that the cosmos is big and wide. And they just have a lot more questions that people are willing to give answers. You should not question nothing. You should have censorship. You should believe what you are told. We're beyond that, because we can feel and see that we're not alone in this universe. And we don't need a leader to have teasing out. You can see what we have. We have transporting devices. We have technology. We have gates. We have this. We have that. I mean, every once in a while, there are things going on that would really advance us as people. We wouldn't worry about who is doing. Nobody would be doing to themselves negative things, because there's so much broader compass. broader world. Can you imagine if you had a family and you lived on a plot of land, just like, let's just say like a few acres or 1 acre, and over again, you know, the grandmother, the father, the parents, the children, and their mates, and then over and over again. And it's just after about like 10 generations of that, living in a small place, that you know, you'd have a lot of arguments, a lot of arguments. And that doesn't mean that you would take over your other neighbors 10 or 20 generations of disagreements and arrangements. No. It means that you are ready to embark, open your doors, take a step, and expand yourself to the rest of the world, right? The rest of the universe. So I can see that there is definitely something very big, and also something that is worthwhile monetarily. Because when you have the wheel of fortune, how can you feel when one country is powerful, as the United States, and then makes threats? Threats. You do as I say. How comforting is that? It's not very comforting. Imagine if China, Jinping said that, Putin said that, you will do as I say, and changed his mind frequently. No, that would make everyone nervous. Everyone is full of anxiety, and they wish to go in a different path. And they are people that saying that another path is possible. Another path is possible. Because you do not have too much of a choice. You don't have too much of a choice. Your back is against the wall. Thank you for the likes. What do you think? Hello, Fred. What do you think? You know, besides the 25th Amendment, which it covers, of course, health, mental and physical, how long do you think that you can just rule by force without cracks? Thank you for the hearts. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mom. No, share. Thank you very, very much. Anybody else, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate the thumbs up. If you feel also this is like an unsustainable situation, you're listening. I mean, there has to be the fact that someone's asking Norway for a country, Greenland, by force because you didn't give me the Peace Prize when Norwegians are not responsible for that. The Norwegian government is not responsible. And then threatening Venezuela, I will take and assuming that Venezuela is theirs, and then threatening Colombia, Mexico, Canada. They want everything. I mean, North American Alliance. We all watch anime. Even those that don't admit it, you watched anime. Now, North American Alliance has been like, okay, the last 20 years or so on tape. It's in manga. It's on. You can see it. You can see it. But we live in a world that's more than just anime. We've got to get together as people. We've got to say no. No, we will not fight each other. No, we will not fight each other. And then you take someone who's constantly, what next? He's threatening, he's going to put tariffs on 10% starting the 1st in a couple weeks of all European countries that oppose him having Greenland, even though that's been part of NATO for quite some time, since the beginning of NATO. He wants it. Trump wants it. He wants it. What's he going to do? And he has military. He's threatening, and he's going to have it no matter what. Give it to me. Whatever he wants, he's going to have. And whatever someone can persuade him, listen, I'll give you $30 billion if you make a play, send the army to a certain thing. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's also possible. Anything is possible when someone is saying, I didn't get my peace prize, and they're just provoking war. That's having a tantrum, violent tantrum, scary tantrum. Thank you for the light. Appreciate it. You know, we're never going to get the full side of the story unless we think about our commonality in the universe. That we are more than just subjects, of a certain skin color, language, stuff like that. Stupid stuff. In a way, it's very stupid to like feel that you don't look like us or you don't talk like us, so you should die or you should be beneath me. You should be conquered. Well, these are all factors. All factors. Now, let me see. This heartbreaking situation as we got Three of Swords. This Three of Swords. What can this possibly? Could this be if they can't get him out with political influence? Could this be something else? Could this be something else? This could be something nefarious, or something that is just willed by the gods, willed by fate. Let me see. Let's see, the Three of Swords. I'm just going to cut this deck and see what I get. Three of Swords, all right? Let's just look upon this. Back upside down, switching right. The Hermit. Three of Wands. It almost, when we have the Hermit and we have the Three of Wands connected to the Three of Swords, it could almost be a health issue. A health issue on President Trump, too. He runs himself too ragged. He's full of too much. And then, too, you have to keep in mind, his buddy is Netanyahu. Netanyahu appears not to like to share the stage with someone. And the two men seem to have a bit of contest, in a way. They like to up each other, one up. But something here, the Three of Wands and the Hermit, seems as though one person will pull. One person can do what others can't. One person, the Hermit and the Three of Wands. It's almost as though you could be looking at a health thing. You could be looking at the heart. Three of Wands. Almost seems like the Grim Reaper, doesn't it? This particular one. right? The hermit. Nobody knows what's in my heart. Nobody knows what's inside of me. The Three of Wands. Thank you for the likes. What? I think that we could definitely say something's up. Can I continue as it is? And people are not happy. And it's ridiculous the amount of division that we are going through in this country to spread this all over the world. All this is just planned. And responding to anyone respond to you in a negative manner or says stupid little, phrases that you've heard zillions of times. They're just getting paid to say that, paid to do that. Or just coming from a place that is so low energy, you might as well hand them a piece of toilet paper and say, here, use it. Hello, beautiful. How are you? Yes. We have a face. Something is up. I mean, to me, between the earthquakes happening on a daily basis, I mean, the ground is shaking and people are just brushing it off. And no contingency plans for helping anyone once something happens. If something happens, not if, when something happens. I mean, I want somebody else's oil, I want somebody else's gold, silver, this and that. And nobody's taking care of the people and the love that and the needs that we have right here in our own country of the United States. I'm going to leave this up for a while. If you have any comments, well, please. This is something that we're all involved in, not one person. And we just can't sit around and wait for other people to do it either. And running around in the streets getting our heads banged in, or trying to say, hey, pay attention to me. It's all not working. It's not working. You do know, of course, during Venezuela's takeover a couple weeks ago, a few days ago, there was a very strange craft in the sky, a triangle that hovered above, good size too. Now, I don't see that running around in any airport that I've been around, and it was quiet, silent, and it just stayed hovering. I've seen these crafts ages ago, too. They weren't triangles, they were circular, and they were never discussed. There's a fleet of them. There was no noise, none. But no talking about these things. They want to talk about, conservative and could lead a liberal and this and that and anti or pro. These are planned excursions. We used to have theater, concerts. Now we have thugs. We have people getting paid to get their head beat in, people that are getting paid to beat their heads in, people that are being paid to scream, and people were shocked and amazed that our country, United States, is falling so low and desperate. Oh, and for Trump's peace, board of peace, gossip board of peace, his son-in-law is in it as well. And Tony Blair, from that relic of England, Tony Blair. And all they have to do is pay one simple little $1 billion fee, and they're in there forever. Forever. To harass, to rule. Is that peace? In the English language, a lot of words sound alike or spelled differently with different meanings. And peace, P-I-E-C-E, is a portion of. P-E-A-C-E is not warfare. But they both sound like pronounced peace. And of course, in the background, you notice surveillance, watching the future technocratic governments, watching, machine watching, machine learning. As humans spiral out of control.